everybody, welcome to this episode of In the Shadow of Big Red Eyes Squatchables, the short docu-series everything about Bigfooting. I'm your host, Mike Familant. Today we're going to talk about the principles of Bigfooting. It's a very intro topic to what Bigfooting is actually all about. We're going to answer some of the key questions of who, what, where, when, and why. And I'd like to start by just defining what Bigfooting is. Bigfooting, or squatching, is the study of a large bipedal hominid primate in North America. Now, some people say, well, that's kind of crazy because it's not out there. Well, you could be right, but there are species discovered all around the world every day. I mean, just a couple years ago, there was a large primate discovered down in, I think, in Madagascar or something like that. They had no idea about. So it's possible, and I think with the numbers that are projected among Bigfoot in North America, I'm guessing, I don't know. Now, I want to say, I'm not an expert on this, and everything I say is 100% my opinion. I want to say there's about 2,000 Bigfoot in North America. Now, with that such a low number, it's high enough to keep the population going, low enough to remain undiscovered, which is pretty cool. People say, well, why do you do it? And we're going to answer that question first. Why? Why do you Bigfoot? Well, for me, it's camping on steroids. That's what I like to explain it to people. Not only do we do everything that we would normally do camping, cooking hot dogs,
You're gonna eat this bun sitting here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you want it.
No, I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Can we get them off of there?
setting up tents, sleeping in tents, the camaraderie among the campground. Oh, what are you drinking?
Martian poop.
Huh. How's it taste?
Out of this world.
Come on. Yeah. Oh, now we bring alien puns to base camp. Okay, there we go. There it is. But then we also take it to an extreme where we go out and look for this large carnivore that may or may not exist. It's a crazy concept. But what's really interesting about it is a lot of people that are serious about Bigfooting have all had their kind of sort of personal encounter. There's two ways to get into Bigfooting. There's just the curiosity aspect, which isn't many people. But then you have the other majority of people that have had some sort of encounter or saw something, found something, heard something that they don't know what it is. And they want to explain it. That's what happened to me when I was in North Florida, my first expedition. I had rocks thrown at me in the middle of the night. And that sparked my interest in it, and I've been doing it ever since. That was back in 2011. It's now 2018, the end of 2018. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, really. There is a stigma associated with Bigfooting, and that's we're all crazy. Well, a majority of us are crazy. I've met quite a few interesting people along my journey. There are a lot of normal people that are just interested in the topic. There's doctors, lawyers, there's laborers, there's business owners, there's blue collar, white collar. Anybody can do this, and it's really awesome when you get a large expedition together just to see the different types of people that come out and what each different person has to offer the group, which is really interesting. I've met people who are, like myself, I'm into video editing, which is great for Bigfooting. Some people are into wildlife photography, which is even better. Some people are, there's forensic investigators that know how to collect evidence. There's just anybody and everybody that you could imagine is into this thing. And it's really cool to be brought on the same platform that brings us all together to be able to share a common interest, yet have life experiences and job experiences that come from all different aspects of life. Where? So that's a good question. Where do you go Bigfooting? Well, there's two avenues of thought on that. There is the first avenue, which says that you go where there's a hot spot of activity, where there's a lot of sightings, and where there's a lot of recent reports of Bigfoots, which is great, and I wouldn't suggest that anybody doesn't do that. I think it's very important to have an area that has reports, because I think Bigfoots are a creature of habit, so I think where they go once, they'll probably go again. But the second avenue of thought, and the one I like, is to look for areas that don't have a lot of sightings at all. Actually, it's better if it doesn't have any sightings. And the simple reason for that is I look for three main things when it comes to a place to go Bigfooting. I look for food, shelter, and water. So if we'll take food for example. Just walking up here, plenty of deer. Whoop, U-turn. Ooh, just fell. I don't know if you saw that. That was a deer coming to say hello. Deer are all over where I am at right now, which make a great food source. And we'll take that even a little bit further. We'll go into what Bigfoots eat, because you need to know what Bigfoot eat to have to find a good area that they may be in. I think that their diet consists mostly of, it's very similar to that of a black bear, where black bears eat 80%, they're 80% vegetarian, so they'll berries, grass, shrubs, that kind of thing, and 20% meat and garbage. I think that's pretty much a good breakdown. So if you can find an area that has mostly edible vegetation, and keep in mind not the same stuff that we eat, but something that a bear would eat, that would be a good starting point. Interestingly enough, if you look at a sightings map over the whole country, I know Florida is an extreme example, but over the whole country, if you look at a sighting map of black bear population, you overlay it with Bigfoot reports, they're almost the exact same. That will lead into some sort of maybe misidentifications in some locations, but for the most part, it's pretty much spot on accurate. So the second thing I look for is shelter. Bigfoot need shelter, and that could be in the form of caves, rock outcroppings, and even something that they could make with downed trees or something like that. So shelter, really, you can pretty much make anywhere. And water, as you see behind me, we have a nice little lake back there. Anywhere with flowing streams, there's a spring back there, which makes great. Anything with water, because just like us, Bigfoot need to stay hydrated. And with any animal, they need to drink. So if you're looking for an area to investigate, and also you want to try to be away from people. I've been in campgrounds, I've tried to squatch in campgrounds before where there's 800 other people around, and that's just not, you have to, you're not able to squatch there. You have to go actually out in the woods to even have a possibility of an encounter. So that's another aspect of it. So say you're looking for a place to camp. Say you're in a state forest or a national forest where camping is allowed anywhere that you want. Keep in mind that there's local laws and stuff regarding specifics on that. Normally it's like 250 feet from a water source and stuff like that. So keep that in mind and research that before you go out and set up camp, because some places are very strict about that. But if you have the option, look for you don't want to be on the top of a hill. And this is just in my experience, you don't want to be at the top of a hill. That's going to pretty much not give the Bigfoot any room to work with when it comes in to investigate you, if a Bigfoot does decide to come in and check you out at night. You want to be down in a valley. Preferably both sides would be great. I'll turn you around real quick. This is in my backyard. But this is a great area to go to set up camp. It's flat, good area, and you can see we're kind of down in the middle of a valley. It goes down a lot further down that way. There's no Bigfoot here because there's development right there, and it's just not good location for it. But if I was to be Bigfooting, this is kind of the topography that I would look for. Water source nearby, in a valley. Anybody could come and check me out from up on top of that ridge there, and I would have no idea unless they wanted me to know he's out there. If you're seriously interested in looking for going the First Avenue and looking for recent reports, head on over to Squatcher Metrics on Facebook and Instagram. They have a really good sightings database, and you can just message them and they'll help you out with wherever you're looking for. Great guys over there. Squatcher Metrics, it's called.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of 2 of the principles of Bigfooting with Squatchables. Again, my name is Mike Familant, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already, just to keep updated with all the Squatchable episodes, as well as the In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. Some behind the scenes things I'm going to throw into. Anyways, part 2 is going to be coming out shortly, and until then, keep it squatchy.